you're watching, this is my first time doing this. I'm doing a live stream with Financial Journey. We're basically going to talk about stocks, whatever's up to date, trending stuff. As you can see in the title, Ethereum, GME, AMC, Lucid Motors. Lucid Motors is one of the ones that I specifically talk about a lot, at least more on my channel than his. He also talks about it a lot too. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions at all, just let me know.
Yeah, feel free to also let us know any questions in the comments below as far as topics that you want to talk about or anything that's on your mind. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up, subscribe to both of ours. Definitely take a look at the description. You have a link to Danny's channel, so definitely go on and subscribe to him as well. But for the most part,
did you hear about what's going on with Lucid though? I know you commented back on my video
about the warrants, right?
Hype investors.
Oh yeah. I ended up doing a video on that. It was funny. I did a video kind of on the contrary of it. I was saying that it was still a buying opportunity and that people shouldn't worry about that day, about September 1st. When I woke up first thing, I already got like so many comments like, "Oh, what do you think now? What do you think now? Why you're wrong?" It's like, yep. Honestly, it is what it is, right? Like, at the end of the day, these are big hedge funds and institutions, and they're just rebalancing. So it's just a temporary thing that they're doing, and I think a lot of people seem to not realize that, right?
I mean, from my perspective, if they made 25% on their multi-million-dollar investment, I mean, they can capture some of that and have profits. They can have some. They still probably have some still left in it because they're believers. But, I mean, the whole thing of making it go down, that is the reason why. And it might not have done all 10%, but it might have done 5-6%, and then other people had fear. So that's why. Yeah. A lot of people bought back this morning, too.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Actually, my apologies. I just realized that I had it on private, so makes sense why nobody was joining.
Oh, shoot. Mine is too.
Well, that's it's fun chatting, I guess.
Okay, well, I'm happy we did it together.
But yeah, no, especially with
all right.
with Lucid though, there's honestly it's a, I don't know, a lot of people just don't seem to realize that it's a long-term investment, right? Same thing as when you bought Tesla back in the day. It's
exactly. Did you turn yours positive or public?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, but that is the whole thing with this company. I mean, they don't even have anything sold yet. Like, they are still in the process, and they don't even have mass production. So how can you expect a company to have value right now? I mean, it's a lot of speculation.
Oh, massively. And actually, I'll even look up the chart, though. It's kind of funny, though. I bought in the after hours, like around 7 a.m. It was at, I put a bid at 15.50. I think it had a low of 15.30, which is crazy to think. Like,
yeah, literally. It's insane.
Some people,
I mean, they all got the pipe investors, they all got them at $15 a share, and they really were supposed to be getting them at 10. Yeah. But Lucid obviously saw where the speculation and everything was going, crazy news. So they offered and they said that, like, look, we want 15, and they had to agree on it.
Yeah. Well, it's beneficial. It's funny though. Yeah. When people look back now, though, because obviously when a lot of hedge funds and institutions like submit their 13Fs and stuff like that, which will be like 3 months possibly at max from now, you'll see a lot of hedge funds and everything bought in today. So a lot of people are worried about the fact that all these huge investors dumped, like, potentially today. But in reality, it's like there's going to be so many more that we're waiting for this kind of situation today.
Exactly.
To enter. And
yeah, I mean, honestly, if everyone just dumped, it would have stayed at $15.50 a share. I mean, it bounced back to almost 18. Like, that just shows that there are people that do believe in it, but they sold because of just taking profits.
Yep, very true. Yeah, I know. It's, I don't know, small-minded.
I mean, what is your opinion on how it blew up to like over 60 a share? What do you think on that?
I think in reality it was just more the broader market, right? Because it didn't happen just with Lucid, right? It was Almost
everything did.
Everything. It was just a massive surge of capital that was coming in, and and it was always around. I think it's the second week of the OTC stocks hit a high in February 11th, and I think a lot of Lucids and everything like that, and a lot of spec stocks, even Hyliion. I cover a lot of Hyliion as well, and everything second or third week of February in every other regard, it just blew up everything massively.
Now, do you think that could be backed up by I don't know what time exact the stimulus and unemployment checks? I mean, obviously stimulus is bigger and more important. Did that come out maybe in that time period where people were getting it and they had enough capital to just keep putting it in the market? Or is it just more of momentum right now is going crazy and I got to get in the market?
I think it was just extreme FOMO just was kicking in reality. Nothing, as far as I remember, there was nothing really special that was going on at that time frame that would cause a massive surge like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, even volume was insane at that stage too.
Yeah, exactly. I know you talk a lot about Ethereum Classic. What kind of makes you really bullish on that compared to just investing in Ethereum?
Well, in theory, Ethereum technically has a lot more long-term momentum going on, but Ethereum Classic will have a lot of kickback from their rallies. But in reality, I think it's just the huge amount of volume. Ethereum Classic, I think, is ranked number 20 among the coins as of right now. But as far as volume, they're always top 5. So there's a lot of.
What about size?
Size. They're as far as size, they're number 21 as of right now. But based on dollar value for volume, they're around ranked number 5. Always. There's a huge amount going on there. And I don't know, I'm a big value investor, and anything that trades at a value compared to other coins, because again, it's hard to kind of put a true value on a lot of cryptocurrencies right now. But how I find value is if you compare it to other similar coins, and the other coins are rallying versus ETC, for instance, isn't, or whatever coin you like isn't, and there's nothing fundamentally wrong with it, then it's trading at a discount. And whether it being manipulation because of shorts or whatever it might be, I find those more advantageous to buy. But
okay, are you more of a, would you say crypto or stocks right now? What do you think is more bullish?
A lot of my videos, I've always said that there's always a transition of capital. I feel that everything is linked, and I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about that. Coincidentally, everything, when the stock market's rallying, the crypto market is just kind of slumping or stagnant, and vice versa, right? I don't know.
I mean, right now crypto is doing good, and I mean the market's not crazy.
Yeah, whereas the market's been lagging a lot. I think over the next remaining of the year, it'd be more probably advantageous to be in crypto, most likely.
Yeah.
What about you?
I honestly think the same. The only thing that I'm really curious about, especially what you think, is on the fact of where the stock market, because there's a lot of speculation or a lot of talk on it crashing, a lot of talk on it going to worse than a Great Depression based off of interest rates of the Federal Reserve, what they're going to do. So many things that just show signals of a possible crash. And I mean, some of them make sense.
They've been saying that for a while, though, I think.
That's the thing. They've been saying that for a while, and it just keeps rolling and getting worse. And if it falls,
guaranteed.
It'd be bad. But right now, I mean, the GDP is actually going up a lot.
Yeah.
So the amount that people are actually doing is supposedly going up, even though unemployment seems kind of not that. Because if you go to a fast food restaurant, you don't even get your food. But yeah.
So here's a fun topic that I think a lot of individuals will like to hear about: AMC. What is your thoughts on AMC?
Yeah, so I mean, technical analysis wise, I haven't done much on AMC, and I mean, honestly, all in research. But from what is going on, I saw it rebound. I see it rebounding right now. I can pull it up. But the fact is that it honestly has so many people involved in it. I think the value in it's overvalued, in my opinion. used to invest into it when it was like $2 or $3 a share, and I got out of it once I thought it was overvalued. At this point, I do think that it is a lot based off technical analysis and what you are reading on signals. So if it does go down a lot, I mean, people are investing into it, and people want it to go up. And if you want it to go up, you can make it go up. If there's hedge funds that are wanting it to go down and trying to make it go down as much as they want, but the community knows like this thing could go up, make it go up.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. Like, it's well above the amount, like the intrinsic value of AMC. Definitely, I think a lot of individuals do feel that this. I think, like, on a technical stance, there's a lot of things that a lot of individuals, like the whole rationale behind the squeeze per se, and people getting in. It's a lot different than I'm used to as far as looking at technicals, because on a technical stance, yes, sometimes there's no rational reason why it's up or down. It's just the retail investors driving the market on that specific day. And I do think that it's linked to crypto. I think a lot of individuals who are kind of moving back and forth in between, whether those are the hedge funds kind of trying to cover their shorts or prevent a margin call or whatever it might be. But I do think that long term AMC, there will be a squeeze eventually. Just when?
I can definitely see that happening too. And I mean, in my opinion, comparing that to GME, I would put my money on AMC over that just because of the actual like fundamentals, how there is a business behind that I actually think is going to go better from COVID and all that stuff. But talking about the whole, what you just said, long term, like in the next 6 months, there could be another squeeze. And if it goes up 5x like it did before, double right now, I mean, you have options. If you're invested into that, no matter what, that's a good return.
Yeah. I think right now, just subconsciously, a lot of retail investors want AMC to squeeze and a lot of these other stocks to squeeze. It just comes down to the fact that it's opportunity cost at the end of the day. People are still human. People still want to earn the most money that they can. So even me, like, as much as I want AMC to go up, I'm not going to continue to keep on buying it. I still want to diversify. I think, in my opinion at least, with the exception of AMC and maybe some other ones, crypto will 100% outperform stock market easily. And
many big investors say they have money on just betting that it's going to.
Yeah, and plus, especially I think what they're saying hypothetically is September and October as far as inflation rates, and it will possibly be a bad kind of transition from summer to fall going into that for stock market. So people will automatically go into deflationary coins or whatever it might be, or tokens. Tokens seem to be rallying too, but
meme stuff.
But
but what is your opinion? Because I know the whole real estate market and the whole thing about kicking people out of their houses, the whole bankruptcy and stuff. Do you think investors are gonna go really heavily into the real estate market? You think it's gonna go down?
No, I think prior to 2020, even when the crypto rallied in 2018, I still don't think a lot of people took it seriously in as much as they do now. Whereas now, typically, capital always flowed typically again between the bond market and the capital, like the stock market. But now there's a third kind of a transition into the cryptocurrency. So people are trying to find the best return and safest return among the three now, and typically bonds and safe assets such as real estate are becoming less and less. They're too safe for a lot of individuals. So that's why to seek high returns that's why capital is just rotating between the stock market and crypto right now, in my opinion at least. Mm-hmm. So
now, where do you think all the money's coming from when you can see Bitcoin that passed 1 trillion size market cap a while ago? Like, that's just a lot of money coming from where? I mean, obviously from people, but is it taken away from real estate a little bit, or is it just a mix of everything?
I think it's the stock market and just people being leveraged, most likely.
Yeah.
Do you have a comment as far as Lcid? I know you're a big Lcid fan, but what are your thoughts about Lcid, and will it drop more?
Will it drop more? Oof. I could probably see it in the 16 or 17s. I don't see it going below 15 a share. but I definitely 6-12 months plus, especially once they start doing deliveries, it's gonna pop. I guarantee, not a financial advisor obviously, but I definitely believe that long term there will be a pop just because of how great the performance is of the actual vehicles. Later in September, they're having this thing. It's a whole week where they're gonna meet up in Arizona, and a bunch of people, media, invited guests, everybody can go and see the vehicles and drive the vehicles. And I think that just seeing that in a potential mass-producing facility soon, I think that could be huge.
Yeah.
Short term though, I don't see it below 15.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the same thing. As far as typically on a technical standpoint, looking at charts, actually I will just pull up my chart just so I could follow along. But so as far as Lucid,
I mean, I think it bottomed at 16 in May. Was that when it bottomed at 16 in May?
Yeah. The thing is, when you have a chart, typically, as much as it was a beautiful rebound from today, and even I kind of started the stream off saying that it hit a low of pretty much low 15s, there's a gap to be filled. Anything vice versa, even when something goes up dramatically as much as it does, or when it goes down as much as it does, it breaks support levels, and I think, or breaks resistance levels, same thing. Those things cannot be really repaired. It's a nice rebound, but as far as whether it stands, that just shows you where the floor is. So most likely we probably will, without a new catalyst or any new info or anything out there, it will probably trend down to where it was as a low, unless something comes. So that's how I see it, and most likely how it might happen. So probably
I completely understand that too. I mean, if it does get to the 15s, it did bottom near that, so from what you're saying, I understand that.
Yeah, no, actually I'll even pull up the 1 day chart. It's not showing a 1 day chart. There we go. Yeah, even looking, that's why I have 30 minutes. Technical difficulties. Yeah, especially when it rebounds, it does look like we hit a first kind of resistance point around 1703. So most likely, if it does tomorrow, it'll probably trend down to 17. But probably that would be the strong base.
Yeah. So you think it's probably going to be on the downtrend or consolidate lower than a level that it's at right now for at least a month until it has news on production?
I'm probably guessing around 17 over the next 2 days, most likely.
Next 2 days, okay.
Yeah. In reality, I do, because keep in mind a lot of the EVs have been stagnant, even though Tesla's kind of been range bound within a 15%, which is very odd for Tesla. But even a lot of even if you look up Hyliion or any other EVs out there, they're all kind of enacting the same kind of way. They've all been a lot of selling pressure been placed on them, and you can kind of see as well. Looking at overall the volume on a lot of these kind of spec EV plays, they're all very low on volume. It just shows just no real.
I would say, because I was researching NIO earlier today, I think that compared to the other ones, they are pretty high in volume, and I know they just came out with some crazy news. Can't think of it off the top of my head, but they got a partnership with Lotus. It was a $2 billion valuation, and it was a company that they think potentially could be a $15 billion at least, and not even in long terms. They already are producing 150,000 cars potentially this month, and I mean, Lucid Motors can't even do that, and they're valued way higher than that.
Yeah, very true.
So,
yeah, there's some individual named Luke. He said he's selling Lucid tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
And even, actually, I'll pull it up over here as well. I actually did a poll about Lucid. I'll pull this up. Let's see what it's actually at. Yeah, I just switched internet service providers, and it is slow as hell. But anyways. So as far as, actually not that many people, only 298 so far did vote, but as far as who bought Lucid, 31% said they did, 16% said they sold, and 50% say they don't like Lucid. So,
Wow.
pretty good.
Okay.
I guess that kind of speaks volumes more so about what Lcid actually is and means to people.
Yeah, and I mean, I actually have it pulled up on mine. The institutional investors, and actually within the past couple of weeks, there's a lot more, or at least a decent amount more, sellers than buyers from the institutions. And I mean, the fact that they are not fulfilling what they said about having sales and deliveries already start, I mean, that's a pretty bad thing to not be reliable and not stick up to your word as a company, you know?
Yeah, big time. If you have yours up, if you can, there's a comment that came up for CSCW. What color star? What your take on that is? I've never heard of it, but I'll quickly look at the chart, see what they do.
Color star technology.
I think typically when someone asks me a lot of those kind of things, my first intuition when I look at stock charts, like we kind of already mentioned about that huge rally in February, I always look to see if that happened. If that didn't, that did happen, they pretty much are all the same kind of criteria, that they're all spec plays. Obviously what they do behind the scenes is different, but if I don't see that, then that means that company in reality is at least more trustworthy, or that there's a little bit more behind the scenes on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I usually look into. I really like understanding the company and like what's behind it. So I usually like to look up like into the investor relations, specifically like everything they do, and then I mean I'll also look at their financials in that, and I'll see, are they on uptrends? Are they looking to look better? Is their business like model actually looking good? I mean, if it's not, and if their numbers are going down in the past year, I personally don't think of it as a good investment.
Yeah.
I mean, this stock, I mean, it hit $1.80 about in March. I mean, it had a higher point, and then it deep down and consolidated. I mean, technical analysis wise, I mean, long term in the past year, it looks fine, but if we go further, it used to be a lot higher.
Yeah. It is a minuscule company, but the beta is pretty good though, so it's pretty much in line with the broader market.
Yeah, I mean, if you 90 million market cap, that's really small.
Yeah, not much as far as short data either. Only 1%, 1.4 of the interest, so not much going on there. And then I think you have good Fintel info. If any institutions buy into it. As far as on the technical side, I probably wouldn't invest too much on it though.
Yeah. Let's see.
Nothing really pops as far as that it's trading at a discount or anything. Oh, and NFT play. Also,
short interest isn't crazy.
SPRT. What's your thoughts on SPRT?
SPRT, I don't know that one either.
Support.com. It's been one of those massive rallies, like the short squeezes kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
As it's been.
Holy cow!
It's been doing. Yeah, it's been doing pretty good.
That's crazy. Past month. Okay.
Yeah, it's
surprised I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, down 23% today though, but still, I don't know.
If you got in a month ago, you're celebrating.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's the thing though, is how would you have known of this company, or you'd have to have some sort of information before, like, just, it doesn't come by look to just invest into it randomly. You know?
Yeah.
I bet. What was it?
No, I think it's just more, I think this one was another Wall Street Bets kind of thing, so it's just more like an orchestrated kind of thing. And plus, I think people are seeking out, because as of right now, it's 71% short interest, so it's still massively heavily shorted, and day by day, live is increased 25%. So shorts. So most likely, probably still will squeeze. Definitely. Wow, I know nothing about the business, but that definitely looking at this.
What do you think made the Wall Street Bets just all of a sudden pick this one though?
Even I've done it too. You kind of just search the most heavily shorted stocks, and good chance at least two of the 10 are going to do a massive rally, right? That's kind of how how everything's kind of gone.
Holy cow! Yeah, 42% float in short interest, 66 today. Holy. Yeah, that makes sense. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
How many failed to deliver though? Oh, a lot.
They're saying that I guess there's a merger that's coming up on September 10th for Sprt.com.
Oh yeah. You know much about it or no?
To be honest, prior than last week, which I should have actually listened to my gut, I think it was it was cheap in comparison to what it was now, and
yeah,
I think it was someone from my Discord brought it up, and yeah, this is a good trend. Sorry, what?
I was just gonna ask, what's your opinion on all these stocks? Like, there's so many that are heavily shorted.
I think it's
like
it's a good thing, I guess. Ultimately, right? It's I know back in the day, prior to like 2020 or whatever it might be, like shorts, when something was being shorted, it legitimately means that it was a poor company, poor judgment, or whatever it might be. Like it was a failing business. But
yeah.
I think because of all of this that came out, especially with start with GameStop, and that is like, it just shows that there's so much greed out there coming from the hedge funds that I do agree that I think it's good that a lot of these are squeezing and that hopefully the hedge funds are losing a lot. Because it just gives the power back to the retail investor, right? Because for the most part, there's a lot of individuals are powerless, right? Like, I think I do some pretty big trades in some things, and in comparison, like, nothing. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, they're literally just faking. Like, they say random stuff to make a company look bad, but in reality, it's fake stuff. Like, they make it worse than what it sounds or what it looks like.
Definitely, yeah. No, I get that. So I think it's pretty good. I don't really know much about, like, for instance, Sprt, but I've always been a believer that you can, as long as you can make money off of something, I don't really care what it does.
From what I've heard of Sprt, though, is that they've had a backup in the flights, and it ended up causing a bunch to hold back, and it just caused a whole chaotic thing within the company, and like people were getting really mad about missing their flights days later. It cost them however much. And then, you were talking about Spirit Airlines, correct?
No. Sprt.com, SPRT. But yeah, Sprt as far as their airlines.
Oh, okay. Support. Okay.
I think, airlines are a pretty good buying opportunity. Actually, I think in reality, a lot of airlines have rallied to the point where they're kind of overvalued to what the revenue is right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
I agree.
Yeah.
I think at this point it just consolidates, or it shows which ones are really the outperforming ones, and the other ones just consolidate or decline now at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, all of them, even the majority of like the cruises too, are not where they used to be.
Yeah, I'm just watching a lot of crypto rally right now. Are you into crypto?
Yeah, XRP is one I actually researched today about the whole entire lawsuit with it being a security or not.
Yeah.
And it's just a huge deal right now whether or not they are, and if they are or aren't, then they would be able to actually be used. Right now you can't buy it in the United States, you can't do it on Coinbase or anything, because it's a huge deal going on. And then the judge kind of made a comment within the past day how the SEC was kind of being stupid about what they were saying. They're like trying to argue, and they just think that they're going too far and that this really isn't that big of a deal, is what it kind of made it sound like from an article I read.
Yeah.
And like the whole thing about that is that they're attacking Ripple, XRP, they're attacking them with all this stuff, but they're letting Ethereum, they're letting all these other ones go by, you know?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I think it's had to do with the ownership of it. I think the ownership was classifying Ripple as, I could be completely wrong. I remember that there was ultimately, at the end of the day, it just was they're questioning the physical, like how Ripple was coded or classified as, whether.
Oh, okay. Because something I read is that they were doing unreliable or not secured transactions with the SEC, and it was $1.4 billion since 2013 that they thought should not have been actually an investment into the coin. They thought it was going into security and that it can't be publicly traded like that. From what I researched, it's a little confusing, but
again, as long as you can make money off of it, and even if you did buy it at the lows, like it, you would have been up, almost about 300%, 280 or something like that right now.
I bet. I mean, when did you start getting into cryptos?
Probably about October last year, actually. I started to.
Okay.
Funny thing is, I've been watching it since like 2019, so that would have been the best opportunity to get in, clearly. But I think it's just. I think I already kind of mentioned to you, as far as I like investing in tech, but as far as me being tech savvy, it was kind of hard, and I'm a little bit old school when it comes to investing as well, so it was hard for me to invest in something that I guess ultimately was still potentially being questioned, and I had a hard time with that. But obviously I've done a lot of research since then, and obviously I know that crypto is definitely going to be the way of the future. And
where do you see it going? I mean, a lot of people are talking about how the only con that I can think of is the fact that you can get away with doing illegal activity. That's a huge issue. But what do you think about that and like going towards the future?
I think going into the future, eventually just the coins and everything will start to consolidate into a small amount. And so I think Bitcoin and like Ethereum and anything like that, those ones will be definitely like used down the line, and ETC as well. But I don't know, it's still very ambiguous.
I mean, all these coins, they're advancing into all this new technology and new networks where you can do so many things with it. And I mean, also the accessibility and usability of buying a Tesla car or anything, getting gas. You can use like Bitcoin now at some of them, you know?
Yeah. So
like it really is like you can start purchasing it pretty much anywhere soon.
Yeah. I think the only downfall is, so like I've done a video on this because I do find it beneficial, but recently El Salvador, actually I think officially September 5th, I think it is, El Salvador is switching their official currency to fully Bitcoin. But it's been around, wow. I guess, like they've been starting to transition now. But that is definitely going to be a big thing going forward, because it does show, like, if assuming El Salvador doesn't fully like crash and fail, then hypothetically that will kind of spread out, right? Because a lot of the Central America is all kind of, as far as their economies, are fairly the same. They're fairly low in the grand scheme of things. So obviously if they transfer, then Guatemala, Belize, they'll all kind of transfer to Bitcoin. Just the only thing I didn't like is there was some articles, or I guess some interviews with some, as basic as it is, like street people, and who just sold food in El Salvador, and they were accepting Bitcoin there, but they didn't like the fact that the value went down as much as it did. So I guess it's forcing, and it would force individuals to be investors, whereas if you hold physical, like a fiat, it doesn't go down and doesn't rotate as much, because they are able to print money as freely as they can to kind of keep a lot of kind of day-to-day items fairly cost efficient and standard, whereas that street maker, they might, or whatever food person, they might have received maybe, argument's sake, 1 Bitcoin, and then hypothetically it drops 50%. Well, hypothetically then they lost money. They're being forced to invest in something. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it is a good point to make. Like, do you think they're going to make some sort of coin or an addition or extension to Bitcoin where if you're using the cash, then you don't have the investment in the Bitcoin stock or the crypto stock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that could probably be possible to do. I don't know if they're gonna do that. I mean, it'd be pretty cool to trade money but the thing is that at the end of the day, I mean, I was just looking it up. In the world, $36.8 trillion is what's circulating right now in the world of cash and money. Where is that gonna stop? Like, when would it stop for Bitcoin? I mean, when it gets to a certain level, it's not gonna decrease and increase. Like, it's not gonna be volatile at all.
Yeah. Once the supply runs out.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that it would make maybe a cent or two every dollar at most in like 10, 20, 30 years. Maybe is what I'm thinking, if that's the case and it gets to be that big of a thing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the whole goal of all these currencies is to take over the currency right now, like USD or whatever country you're in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and the whole thing about the burning of tokens and the deflation too, like that all adds to it. But once it gets to the level of stability, then it could actually be controlled.
Yeah, very true. I think, yeah, that's what they're trying to, the whole movement is against, though, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm just watching ETC right now as well, though. See, it's making good ladders, though. That's one thing I really like about crypto is, with the exception of like major catalysts that come out, everything's pretty predictable. Like, you can kind of tell as far as where it's going to be going, like looking at moving averages. Like, there's a good way to read about charts and see how things are, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're looking at all these cryptos, I mean, I feel like a lot of cryptocurrencies, a lot of it is going off technical analysis and what you know behind. I mean, when you look into a company, you can understand the entire business and the physical assets and what's going on behind it. Whereas crypto is kind of like the only thing that they're doing is being more accessible, more usable, and there's supply and demand, and there's technical analysis with it on investors, you know?
Yeah.
So that is the one thing that was really my only fear when I started investing into it, which is why I started small and I added more. It was last summer when I started. But just the thought of it being in the future, you know?
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah,
so what do you think of like overall like gamma squeezes and stuff like that? I guess transitioning back into kind of a stocks. What do you think about a lot of that?
I mean, I understand how it all works and the whole thing about options, and I do agree that if people are buying a bunch of options, then it should in reality make it go up. And the fact that it's happened to AMC, GME, like that's part of the whole entire squeeze it had, it makes sense. And I mean, it is a really risky thing. Imagine buying a bunch of call options. Like, you're either making 1,000% or you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, it is really risky, but I do understand how it does encourage buyers and it does influence the company or stock. But yeah.
This is definitely gonna. I'm just sorry. This is what happens. How my mind works. I just totally just rant all over the place. It's funny. I was just going to say this is going to piss off a lot of AMC individuals, but Citadel is one of the biggest investors, our largest holders of Lcid.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good. People love Citadel.
You starting to do more Lcid lately? Is what you're thinking?
I don't know.
You said you added more today, though, yeah?
Yeah, added more.
How often do you add? If you were just to be asked, how often do you actually buy stock or crypto?
If I physically like the stock, and I find it a long-term hold, then I will typically not really swing trade it. I will stay constant with it. I'll keep premiums, so I'll sell puts or I'll sell covered calls or things like that just to collect premiums and stuff like that. But okay. I'll typically, when I'm down roughly about 15 to 20% from the asset, then I'll average down. Anything less than that. So obviously today, I think it was down 20% alone today at the beginning of the morning. So
what is this too much? But what percentage cash would you say you're at about right now? Like, in case the market goes up or down a lot and you want to have like diversity but still have cash to invest if it does go down.
I have about 20%, but I think I'm most likely capped out I did get my average down for Lcid to 1690 something, but I might be capped out if it does go down anything more than, if it does break the 15 support level, then I don't know, then I'd have to reevaluate it most likely.
Okay. How many would you say total stocks or cryptos, either one, would you say you have? Like, do you like to be very diverse, or you like to stick to maybe less than 5 or 10? What's your opinion on that?
I have about 25 different stocks, about 30 probably different stocks. And as far as crypto, I have about 5. So not too diverse when it comes to crypto. Just yeah.
Do you stake Ethereum, or do you have Ethereum at all?
Currently no. I did though. I ended up selling out at when it was 2,200. Bought in at 900. So I made some good money. Just obviously I didn't catch the full rally on it, but
yeah, it's amazing. Like when I hear the stories of, oh, I heard about Bitcoin in 2012 or 2014, and like, oh, I could have mined it, or, you know, then like the whole pizza guy's story of using, what is it, like $300 million worth of Bitcoins today to buy 2 pizzas 10 years ago. Have you heard of that?
No.
Yeah, it was this guy. I don't remember what country it was, but he literally spent, if it was today's value, he could have bought a bunch of yachts. He could have bought everything in the world.
Yeah.
But he bought 2 pizzas then.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's one of those things.
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. It's for everything. It's just funny. It was actually the first like use of it being bought for something too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things. Like I think you need to be very diversified. Like in general, a good combination of stocks and crypto, because I think sometimes capital is just going to rotate between one or the other, right? So you'll be winning with some with not. Again, it just depends on your time horizon and where you see it going, and plus I think a lot of people don't take profits as much as they should in a lot of cases, and
yeah,
that's why with and plus on the contrary though, people also are afraid to cut. I think that's the biggest thing, how people become bag holders, is when things change fundamentally with a stock that they like, they just hold it way too long. And for instance, I know you do a lot of Lcid, right? So for instance, Lcid, if it does break the $15 support level, then I'll probably have to cut my loss and just, even though I know probably 5 years out this will be like a huge return, just I feel based on that I could get a lot higher returns with almost anything, but or crypto.
How often would you say you sell? Like, I mean, you invest long term, or do you like to day trade, swing trade? Like, how often do you
trade? Mostly would consider myself a swing trader, but because I have a good about 20 long-term kind of stocks, varying all different market caps. I have minuscule companies, large companies, but I like to make money, and I like to be as liquid as I can, and I'm only 20% right now in cash. So what about you?
Apparently my sound's not on. Huh. That I do not know what.
I think whoever's in mine can hear you.
Huh. I think I'm just gonna shut mine off then.
Just check your audio settings as well underneath. Make sure you only have one going on there.
Let's see, maybe that works. Huh. All right, well, first time doing this. Don't yell at me. But
yeah, there's a lot going on here. I think ultimately, I know we're kind of transitioning back and forth, but back on the topic of kind of short squeezes, and for instance, like Sprt.com, ideally, I always think that you need a good gamma squeeze in order for a short squeeze to occur. And I'm just going to pull up Sprt.com. to see what their options are. Let's see what's their. Even on a basic fundamental, like, it's not too bad of a business. Yeah, at least I think. But maybe not obviously worth what it is now, but ooh, $9. Definitely a lot going on here, and a lot of options being purchased around the $50 mark. So yeah, if it stays around this, and given that's a long time to hold it though. They don't have weekly options. They only have a monthly one, so it expires September 17th. So
nothing crazy though with the financials from what I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a company that is getting shorted heavily by hedge funds or institutions, like, they're probably not going to be that great at companies. Like, they probably are, like, not the best companies. Even though, like, today they are trying to fake some of it, I feel like no institution would put multi-millions of dollars into a company that's really just the best company in the world.
Yeah.
Or what do you think?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. On the contrary, though, as a retail investor, though, I really don't care if a company is failing or not. Like, for instance, this is why I do a swing trade, right? Like, for instance, Sprt.com. Definitely looking at the technicals, though, like, you can make some decent money based on this as well. So,
yeah.
And based on the info that I pulled up, like, was it 77% short it was? Like, this is definitely still going to squeeze. And it looks like...
That's the one thing, though... Sorry, what was that?
And it looks like they actually doubled down on whoever is shorting it, it increased 25%. So, definitely, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely something to look at.
So what about you? Do you do a lot of swing trades, long-term investment? What do you do?
Yeah, so I was actually about to say, I really don't do that short of stuff. I used to do it a lot more, but then end of the day I realized it wasn't working out the way I wanted to. That was probably before the end of last year. But since then, I really buy stocks, and I really don't sell it unless I really just don't like how it's performing, like, fundamental-wise. Like, if the company changes how it runs, or if they come out with something that's just terrible, then I'll get out of it. But if it does go up a lot, like, I'll sell it if it goes up like crazy, like, if I know it'll be better. But like you said about the whole, like, fundamentals, or how you're the retail investor, if I was to swing trade into something and I know long term it's not a solid company to stay up, like, long term, or have a really good pop off, then for me, I'm not really as interested in that stuff, because I do find risk, and I don't want to be stuck in something that I have to capture 20% loss, you know?
Yeah, very true. Definitely. Yeah, that's a good way to think.
Yeah. I mean, my thought of it too is, like, trying to time it, especially, I mean, you're not doing daily because that's insanely hard, but trying to time is very difficult. It's doable, and you can for sure do it, and a lot of people do it. Just got to know what you're doing, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good transition. I think I'm going to call it, if you don't mind.
All right.
Well,
yeah, let's do it.
So, I appreciate you guys all joining in. So, this is Danny. In the description below, I have my link to his channel, so definitely go give him a subscribe. Smash a thumbs up to this live stream as well. Appreciate it.
And thank you also for having me on this. So then, for mine too, this is Kel and Financial Journey, and if you want to check them out, the link is in the description as well.
Cool.
So,
well, thank you guys, and you guys have a good rest of the night. I appreciate you guys. Luke, thanks for coming out. Sean, and various other individuals. Thank you, guys.